Guys, welcome to Rex Arthur TV, Rex Arthur Show. This is the LGBTQ channel that brings news and views with an LGBTQ perspective. And we have also added philosophy and also in with an LGBTQ perspective. And so today we are going to discuss philosophy, and that is going to be under the under rivers of thought, lava of fikir, not livers of thought and rava of fikir, rivers of thought and lava of fikir. R and L are similar sounds and very important if you study phonology. When you say R, the tongue hits the palate, upper palate. And when you say L, the L also hits the upper palate but releases L and has to go. So sometimes that's why you can have a problem having R, like what I was going to say, instead of rivers, I was going to say livers of thought, but it is rivers of thought and then lava fikir. So anyway, that's aside. This is just a joke. It happens. And today, we're on technology and the technological revolution, and that is happening in the transition from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. Now, for those of you who do not know what the Piscean age and Aquarian age, this is what astrologers and other people have and cosmologists have studied the world and have known that the world has existed in ages. And so this as we have the zodiac months, whereby you have the astrological months and Pisces and all of these months, Aries and Taurus and all of that. Ages also have their zodiac, and an age is like mostly 1,000 years. It's an epoch. It's a period of very long time. And if you know religion, especially the Bible's definition of the world in Greek is age. And ages meaning it means the world. And that is what we are supposed to understand. The world is an age. We are like when we are in the 21st century, we are in the 21st century world, and we are not in the 5th century world. And this is the 21st century after the year of our Lord. That though these days, because of secularism, we say after Common Era. There's before Common Era, that was BC, before Christ, and then now we are in the age of Common Era. So we are in the Common Era. So we are 21 or 2,100 years away from the Common Era. Now, the other era before the Common Era is around 5,000 years of recorded, this 5,000 years of recorded history, recorded. And we'll be talking about very great things because I've now begun to understand evolution after a very long time. And what you'll understand about evolution is early man did not record his arrival to earth. That is why even the book of Genesis was not written by Adam. He had no ability to write. He was not literate. It is interesting that the person who wrote Genesis was a literate person, and that is Moses. And Moses wrote it about how many years after? More than 500 years after, not even 500 years, 1,000, because Adam lived for 900 years before he died. That's according to the Bible. And remember, it was written by Moses. So Moses was counting years as per the Egyptian time system. And the Egyptians are the ones who gave us the time system of 365 days. Babylonians and Jews liked using 360 days was a year. So the time Moses wrote Genesis, they knew how to measure a year. They knew how to measure a year. So the years that are written for Adam and Eve could be feasible. But because Moses was not there with Adam, he just wrote, we give him here. There's a benefit of doubt. And you take it by a pinch of salt. That's why sometimes you don't need to take religion very seriously. Please don't take it very seriously. It's just pinch of salt. Why? Because there were very many diverse stories. The time the Bible or the Genesis was written, it was written for the Jewish people. Moses didn't really think he was going to write for the whole world. I mean, now if he wakes up from the grave, he'll say, my goodness, everybody's reading what I wrote. And I only wrote it for Israel. You see? So those are the things people need to understand. Some things were not written for everybody. And at that time, there was the Egyptian culture. It was already richer than the Jewish culture. And there was the Babylonians and the Hittites. They were very rich in culture. They could write. The hieroglyphics, if you look at the hieroglyphics, beautiful. And you look at how they could use color in the years of 3000 BC. And they knew how to use paint. Now, add 3000 BC to 2000, the year 2018. That's 5,000 years ago. People have been painting for that long. People have been artists for over 5,000 years. People have been writers for over 5,000 years. People have been leaders for over 5,000 years. So what am I trying to say? Early man, there was a point early man did not know how to write. Even I don't think Abraham knew how to write. He was illiterate. Noah, I don't think he knew how to write. They were illiterate. So this is supporting the so-called evolutionists who say that there were some men who couldn't write. Then as early man evolved, man started using tools. So tools started coming into the picture, and one of these involved writing tools. So men now are writing, they were drawing, they were hammering, they were hunting. Because in the past, man used to kill animals with his bare hand. Now, when the reason why evolution is real is because when man wanted to eat an animal, he couldn't eat it without a fight. So there were many fights with animals. I bet you there are early humans who fought with lions and tried to struggle with it, and they died. So the people who remained learned, that animal is very bad, don't try it. So as they were trying it, they were now thinking, how can I hunt? How can I get that animal? I want to eat it. And that's how weapons were born. And then tools were born because people wanted to do certain things. And remember, birds have been in existence for thousands of years, and they have been making nests for thousands of years. So what does that tell you? That the ability to build something was also learned. Animals, humans also learned and said, wow, we are going to also build houses for ourselves. And that's how we started building things. And we have been building for thousands of years. And now I want you to look at history in terms of like the tools we have and the things we have. So there was a history when man had no tools. There was man, but he had no tools. He was toolless. Then there's history where he had basic tools. Then there was history whereby he now had metallic tools. He left the Stone Age and stopped using stones. Now you're starting to use metal. Then after using metal, He went and used. The Iron Age stayed with us for a very long time. Even the Industrial Revolution, it involved iron and coal. Then finally, the now man has made tools varying from iron. Now you can even have golden tools, you can even have silver tools, you can even have plastic tools. And when plastic was discovered, when chemicals were discovered, people now processed chemicals and they made many things with the, the plastics. So that is the evolution of man, tool wise. Then you go and look at the evolution of man energy wise. There was a time man never knew what fire was. They could see lightning, but they couldn't produce fire until they saw fire one time and they said, we can try and make this thing. So, man, his curiosity didn't kill man, it killed the cat, but not the man. The man is still alive because of curiosity. And he kept on doing it, doing, and then finally made fire. And then now found minerals that can create fire. That's when you have firewood. If you read the stories, the ancient stories in the religious books, they are always talking about how they made fire. They had no gas cylinder. They had no electricity. So they only used what they had. So they got to know fire. Then they now started building candles, making candles. And this continued. And then coal came, industrial age, especially when coal was discovered that it can burn and it can keep energy. That was it. Europe exploded because now they didn't need to cut trees. I mean, they did need to. They were doing coal mining rather than firewood to run a. Imagine running a factory with firewood today. It's insane. There are people who want to run their factories with firewood. Until today, there are people who still cook with firewood. That's the beauty of life, is that we now have diverse forms of energy, but all this energy evolved. Then the greatest energy of all is the electrical energy. That one, when it was discovered, it is what has changed our world today. Thank you, Thomas Edison, wherever you are. Maybe you're watching on us and crying that we're not paying you. But I think they're paying the family some royalties. There are some patent payments being given to the Edison family. And yes, because they did he did a good job. They found electrical energy. Then now mankind has diversified energy and now is using solar energy and is using fossil, of course, the fossil energy. Oil had already been used for quite some time and it's now being used. But electrical energy is what I'm trying to focus on because it had never been found and it has revolutionized everything. Now we have electric light, we have electric gadgets. You see, we're charging phones because they are electronics. If electricity was not discovered and electrical energy was not discovered, do you know you would not be having a phone now? We'd still be scratching our heads. How do we talk to each other? How do we talk to each other? That's why inventors, they deserve praise. They deserve praise. And to innovation is a very important thing. Creativity, very important thing, especially scientific creativity. Because when you create something new in the field of science, making life better, that's progress. That's why we are a progressive channel. We want life to be better and better. We will go to high levels in this world, and that's what's going to happen and is already happening. So this video is about that, is that the technological revolution, which is actually the electrical revolution, electrical energy revolution. Remember I told you R and L, so be careful, there's so many R words. We may say revolution. So all of these things, they are connected to the electrical engineer energy and technological revolution have changed the way we live life in such a way. We are actually living in a transition. Obama said something in his speech when he was in South Africa that we are living in uncertain times. Why did he say that? It's because the rate of change happening in the world is so fast. The technological gap is so wide, wider than the economic gap. If you tell me the knowledge gap in the world now is so wide, yes, it is. There are some people who are not on Facebook in this world, while there are people who are in more than 10 accounts. Somebody in this same world of 7 billion people does not even know what Facebook is and is not bothered and is still living in the world. That's how diverse we are. Meanwhile, someone has 10 more accounts. His Bitcoin, he has diverse Bitcoin accounts. He's not even using money anymore. He's using his phone to pay for everything. So we are in that transition because, you see, a few of people of the world have already made it to the Aquarian age of technology and advancement, scientific advancement. But majority are still stuck in the Piscean age, which began from the Common Era, the time of the Common Era, that is 1 AD. So many of us are still in that Piscean age of, faith. I know a little science, I can try. But a few have already made it to Aquarian. They know, they can code. Very soon, people will even be talking code. You just say, and I know what means. It's one paragraph. Yes. And I know it will even change how intelligence is spread. This right now, just seeing the Senate, American Senate, is discussing foreign influence on social media. Yes. Why? It's what we're talking about. Technological revolution. It has changed everything. And it's the best and the greatest revolution ever seen in mankind because it has touched every sector of society. It has even affected the American election, 2016, and America is having another election now. And you just heard this week, Facebook had to look for accounts that belonged to Russian hackers and had to close them. Why? Because Russia has an interest in American politics. And you see, technology has killed borders. They are wiped out completely. Whatever you do, my friend, it's gone. Because right now, when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to the whole world. Anybody who comes onto the internet, whether he's in Antarctica or in Australia or in Brazil, is seeing me. And I'm actually on in the 24 time zones of the world right now. Yes, it's that beautiful. In the past, if you have a conference and you're talking to people, you know what happens? You are there, and it's like, let's say now I'm in Africa and I'm talking and I'm sharing a lecture, and it's a room of 5 people. Only those 5 people know that there was a lecture by Rex Arthur. But now, the whole world knows there was a lecture, there was a live stream. Because as long as they come to this channel, they will see there's a video. So this person recorded a video. You see, so we know everything of everywhere as long as that thing is connected to the internet. And that is why the world systems are a bit shaky. Even Brexit was caused because of technology. And people are, and not everybody is Aquarian. In fact, the younger you are, the more Aquarian you're becoming. The older you are, the more you are Piscean. Or if, let's say, those who are born before the 70s or 80s, let's put it at 80s, or at best, those who are born in the 90s, because those ones are young people. They are right now, most of the 90 born in the 90s are between 20 and 30. So those are the real, they are having the time of their life. They're living now life. They're getting into know things. They're on Facebook, Instagram. I see around and I see young people, they are taking photos. Why? Because of the technological revolution. 30 years ago, our parents, 40 years ago, they were our age and they could not use a smartphone. There was nothing, and they didn't even think there will be a smartphone. That's the beauty of life. Do you know what's going to be there in 2050, 2040? You don't know. You don't know. And it could be something greater than the smartphone. I was even telling a friend that I can't wait for the day when I can call a friend in America and say hi, and he responds, "Oh, I'm okay." I can receive him because it's like as if I have a receiver inside me, and I have the phone now instead of the smartphone being with me, it's in me. I'm just there talking. Okay, we'll chat later. Do you know that will? There's no need of me paying any money to create any system. Maybe only satellites, and all I do is just talk to you like that. That's what we are going. That's the Aquarian age we are heading to. So, what am I trying to say? We are living in a time where technology has transformed everything. Technology has transformed education. So, you are finding education systems that are already Aquarian will have very an Aquarian population, and technological or educational systems that are still Piscean, the old where books, they have still not. Do you know the periodic table? Those who know chemistry, the periodic table has changed and has added more than 10 new chemicals. 10. Do you know what that means? You multiply all of those chemicals with all the other elements in the periodic table, times all of them. That means you can create a new material, because when there's a new element, just one element, you multiply it with all of the others times, because 5 times 5 is 25. Now, what is 110 times 110 and times 110? Because if you have 110 elements, it means that one element can join to all of those 110. That's the outcomes. So the chemical outcomes have increased, and that means there will be new materials to build things. We are even waiting for the time when we are going to build buildings without stone. Very strong buildings without stone. Why? Because we are finding new elements. And this is why we implore the Western world and even China, even the Eastern world, because China has also started space exploration. And India has also started. I'm even tired of, I'm now even no longer, I'm international. I'm not even international, I'm intergalactic. I'm just in planet Earth and I'm waiting to work extra hard to connect to Mars. You can communicate to Mars and say, I want to go and find myself in one crater in Mars and see if there's life there. Those are the things that we're supposed to be doing right now. Why? So that that is a sign of progress. So I'm waiting for them to start mining in Mars and mine in Venus. We get new elements, because the elements of Earth are not the elements of Venus. The elements of Mars are not the elements of Jupiter. The elements in the moon are not the elements on Saturn. All those planets. So just imagine we have 9 planets. That's like having 9 Earths. And some of those planets, do you know if those planets were inhabitable? Huh. My goodness. We are saying 7 billion. Now multiply 7 billion times 9 planets. 7 billion times 9 planets. That is 63 billion, almost 70 billion human beings in all the planets. And this is just planets in the solar system. Do you know how many solar systems exist? And you see, that's how the world is. It is so vast, and we can actually expand. And we are just limited by knowledge, which we are still still pursuing. Knowledge is power. And now what has happened that man is able to know the cosmos. You see, like now NASA is able to reach the stars. So what does this mean? When NASA is able to reach the stars, more knowledge is coming. More principles, new laws, new elements, new planets, new everything. So the new things are increasing. So if you actually this time I encourage people, try and keep up. Try and keep up, please. Just try and keep up the pace. Things are really changing very fast. So you have to be tech savvy. In fact, even now, it's a priority in my life to have an internet. I have access to internet. A serious knowledge economy, a country that is serious about knowledge will work tooth and nail that everybody has Wi-Fi. I went to the village here in Africa and I was so impressed. Very nice land, open, but no Wi-Fi. And I was like, no, this is wrong. Wi-Fi should cover the whole country, the whole continent, whereby you're just walking, your phone is on 24/7. The government there so that people are connected. Forgive me, I sometimes get excited, so I'm on my excitement mode. That's why I'm loud. When there is a village, farmers will be able to know what and whether to plant or not. In the past, people just planted. They never could predict weather. And now we can predict weather. Like the California fires. It's a joke that these fires have been happening for over 10 years. It's a perennial event. Even next year, we conditions and the geographical conditions in California can happen. And so when it became so common, there was terrorism insurance. And then, as I've told you, there's fire insurance. And like now with these wildfires in America, that's why it's really not big news because, first of all, we are all used to it now. Secondly, there is insurance. So all those houses burnt will be paid off and the cars burnt will be paid off. But sadly, some people have died, but there's also life insurance. So the world has done well to that aspect, in that aspect, but can do better. Like, I mean, personally, I wouldn't want to see things I've built go into flames. I wouldn't like that. I would rather find a way, a better way to deal with that. You know, California can become, they can decide to, maybe they don't need to forest it. Maybe it doesn't need, it just needs to remain a desert. Yeah, there's some areas which you don't need to forest, like the Sahara Desert. Why forest it? The soil is not good for tree growth. So anyway, those are my views. And this is what you need to know. And then another thing I want you to know as I conclude, we are living in a transition period. We are transitionary beings right now. The humans who are born now and from the 60s to now, they are all transitionary beings. Of course, we are all transitionary, but there's a time when people are in the middle of an age where everybody is Piscean. Now, like right now, everyone is Piscean. Everyone is wearing shirts, clothes. They cover themselves. There's no one walking naked. Very few tribes in the world walk naked. They are such a spectacle. They are on YouTube. Yes, because they're still walking like the hominids. They're walking naked and just covering a little. They're still in Garden of Eden. The rest of the world is covered. See, the rest of the world is covered with clothes that have been made well, and others, their clothes are just, you just drape yourself with. with cow skin, leopard. But even all that has changed because people have understood the clothes of today are better than the clothes of the past. And secondly, thirdly, we now have mobile phones, smartphones, and there's the next change in society. If you want to know, if you want to know when there's an evolution or revolution, number one, look for a new thing, and this new thing must be so powerful that it affects most of society or all society. As I told you, electrical energy changed industry because now we had electrical tools, we had electrical devices, we had electrical um, scanning. Now you could scan the body. In the past, people could not see the body inside. Now we can see it. And for information, we are going to become so good, we can even put lenses that show us, and someone can even see your body and say, "Oh my, I'm just seeing that there's some bacteria running up your side," and he's seeing it. So all of that is happening to the world. It's going to happen to the world, and is happening. We are going to reach there one day. All of those guys who believe um, that the world has a higher intelligence. Yes, it does, because if you know about the cosmos, then you have high intelligence, very high intelligence. As I told you, one of my favorite scientists, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I wonder what's in his brain. When I look at him, I just say, what does this man think about? What does he dream about? He's always thinking and dreaming about what he knows and what he experiences. That's what Sigmund Freud said dreams are. If when you tell someone to dream big, he cannot dream as far as what he knows unless he is imaginative. Like in my dreams, I don't want to use a car. I want to fly to wherever I want to go. No more airport. I just fly. I just fly, and not just flying in dreams. You can fly in a dream. Fly physically. Yes, I'm late. I don't need the jam. Just poof. I've landed where I want to go. You see that's now my dreaming. And some other people have other dreams. They want to even go to other planets, flying. Here you are. I mean, even Jesus went up to the sky. They said they saw him up. I want that power also. I want to, whereby I go and disappear. So many people, you only dream what you have experienced or what you imagine. So you need to have very crazy imagination. And when you have crazy imagination, you'll have new things. So to conclude, as I've said, the next revolution coming, there will be a new product. Either it's a new product, the way the smartphone came and changed everything, or a new form of energy. So far, the world is a bit oscillative. It's going up and down because it doesn't know whether to go back to the past or the present. Because of technological revolution, there are some adverse effects. Like now, nature, climate change is happening because we have built so many industries, and those industries have affected the ozone layer. You see, we are surrounded by matter. We are connected by matter. Even now, between me and the camera, there is matter. We are connected. It's just that I can't see the whatever is I'm going through like this. I'm going through matter, space. That's why they call it dark matter, the one that's out there. It's dark, but it is matter. You can't see it, but it is there. Forces are also material. Yes. Anyway, that's another. It's deeper philosophy because there are today's philosophy is now no longer material. They don't believe in materialism. I still believe in materialism. I still hold on to materialism. Why? Because I believe our force is matter. Yes, force is matter. Like wind. Winds, when wind is so strong, it will cause a hurricane, a tsunami. And do you see wind? You can't. So it's a force, a very strong force that can lift water up. Can you lift water up without wind? Try it. You can't. Takes that force. I mean, look at California, as we've talked about, the natural wildfires. Can you imagine that man can be defeated by fire? You know, if fire was coming, man would be saying, if man was more powerful than nature, would say, stop, fire, don't move, and the fire disappears. That's how we should be controlling the world. You know, it's raining and stop, no more rain, and then snow. You can even change the seasons. That is the power. When man has that power, man will he will destroy the world. Imagine if everybody had that power. Everybody had that power. They could, someone just give me what I want now. Open the safe, release the billions, and they release it. So we always dream about those things, and they may happen. But I'm just trying to say, whenever there's a new thing, there is a new change, and it can either be new energy or new device. Like now, this is the era of the smartphone. So if you are not smartphoned, you are a bit behind. Then after that, there's the era of the non-smartphone. There's also, do you know, even within now there are people who are not, they don't even need smartphones to deal with the world, but they're still okay. Yes. So it's just diversity of life that we're going through until all of us become Aquarians, or we can be Aquarian Piscean. Like to me, an Aquarian Piscean is a person who is still stuck in the past but borrows a bit of Aquarian things. Because he has borrowed Aquarian life, he can survive in the world. But the person who is stuck in the Piscean age, completely stuck, they may not be able to interact with us. So anyway, those are my philosophical thoughts about technology. And of course, I was telling a friend of mine, this came about when we were talking about transgenders, how they are changing and they go for sex surgeries, and they sometimes they feel bad that they have this body, they change their body parts, so they want to change again. So I was telling them, you know, right now surgery is also very nascent on the issue of transgenderism. But believe you me, within 30 years, surgery will be so advanced that you can remove this nose and put another nose. You can remove this, the way it's just science. Just wait and see. That is humanity. Humanity is beautiful when you understand it in a spiritual sense. The changes that can happen and will happen. So when somebody is tired of his dick, remove the dick, put the vagina with ease, no blood, bloodless removal, and you buy them. They buy you, and the dick is real. It's not plastic. It's a real dick. You can remove it, poof, and then you put the vagina and go and do your stuff. Then come back home, put back your dick and do your other stuff if you want. It's it's going to take time, of course, but believe you me, as long as humanity still exists, humans are going to crack the code, because there is a cosmic code that needs to be needs to be cracked and can be cracked. And when we crack that cosmic code, whereby we'll be even physically immortal, you know, the eternal life is basically can be described as spiritual immortality, but it is not physical immortality. Because when people die and you bury them in the soil, if you come back after 10 years, The body is there, and it's that body, and it goes somewhere. So what is that called? In Christianity, that is called eternal life. But it is, what I'm calling it is spiritual immortality. Spiritual immortality, not physical immortality. So this terrestrial body, it seems, if you take, Paul was a very good teacher about celestial spirituality and terrestrial spirituality. And he said that this body we have is for the terrestrial world. Then it will it will be changed. That is, he said, if Jesus comes and people are alive, it will be changed. But the problem I have with the whole teaching of Paul and all of these guys, they all contradict themselves, because Paul says that when Jesus comes, people's bodies will be changed. John says Jesus is coming to reign for 1,000 years. So John does not even mention whether your bodies change. So as I told you, I'm in a faith space, but I'm just there to, with the faith I have, but I'm there with my eyes opened. Science is what guides my faith now. And that's it. Let's enjoy the technological revolution. Let's know. Go out there and read.